Hello, just doing a quick video in response to a couple of questions that we had during the bookseller breakfast meeting earlier, Zoom meeting we had earlier, about Edelweiss, and I just thought I'd do a video with a couple of quick wins you can use it for, so you don't have to get completely into Edelweiss. To do this, you can just follow a couple of simple steps, and do what I've done on my site if you want to, or use the information in any way you choose to. But what I've done on BookBugs is created a couple of categories that illustrate the top, so in this case, the top 500 indie bestsellers. And it's really easy just to import this in as a new category, keeping all your old categories as well. And sort of highlighting some titles. And what I've done on our site is allowed back orders on these titles as well. So even though I don't necessarily stock all of the titles in those lists, it can it can people can still order them on the site, and because I'm fairly confident they're bestsellers, I'll be able to get them quite easily. So if you go into Edelweiss, if you don't have a login to Edelweiss or you don't know your login to Edelweiss, it'll be your email address for the shop, and there is a password reminder if you don't know it. If you try that and it doesn't work, then maybe it must be a different email address. Just let me know and I can send you what email address you're registered under, and make sure that you've got access. So for these quick wins, we want to go to the analytics section of above the tree line. Um, and so that's where I am at the moment. And when you go into analytics, what it will show you, this is just useful straight off the bat without doing anything more. You can look at, for instance, what I'm looking at here is the most popular titles, the top 500 titles across the UK indie trade in the last 3 months. Now, if you want to change that, you can change the number of titles you're looking at, and you can change the months, and that's the month's sales that it's looking at. To do that, we can just go into cog over here. Let's say I want to look at, let's go back 12 months, and then I'm only going to extract 200 titles. Okay, if I now click away from that, it's going to update this top portion, as you can see in a minute. Now, the other thing you can do, which is something I'm going to do, is do it by subject. So I'm going to build myself a top 200 list of children's titles. Okay, so as soon as I click children's over on this left-hand side under BIC, it will give me the top 200 children's titles. Another example of that, I could go into fiction and I could go to, say, graphic novels. I always used this as an example when I was showing off Edelweiss to Bertline customers, because a lot of people don't know graphic novels particularly. So now I'm looking, I forgot to take out children's. If I take that out, now I can get myself a really good list of graphic novels, even though I don't necessarily know all about graphic novels. Okay, and then the pie chart represents your stock position on those top 200. So the red part are ones you don't have. So you can just click on that red portion, and it will just show you ones you don't have. You can then import them into your stock system or straight onto a website to order them if you choose to. Now I'm not doing graphic novels, so I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to add in children's again. You can see it will refresh all of this. So everything I'm looking at now has a children's filter over it. So what I can do is, on the most popular titles, I'm going to look at all 200 and I'm going to view them in a grid. I've got 11 hidden titles here. Those are World Book Day titles. If you want to hide a title, it's something you just know you don't want, you can highlight, you can hover over it, and then this little no entry sign down here will hide the title. Okay, so I've clicked view titles in grid, and here are all the titles. Now it only shows 100 per page, and I want 200. So I'm going to go to other actions and select all, and it will highlight all 200 of those titles. Okay, so as you can see, 200 selected there. We can go to other actions again and export everything. And there is a BertLine export template already set up for BertLine users. For GuardLink users, you've probably got a similar one. Let's ignore that. That's an automatic report I have running. So highlight BertLine or whatever your export format is, create, and for BertLine users, it will create this order export BER file. BER means it will open directly into BertLine if you double click it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to my ISBN lists in BertLine. So we're in front office, in ISBN lists, and there they are. I'm going to create myself a new list, and I'm going to call this, so it's important what you call this because that's going to be the name of your category. So indie, so let's call it, no, top 200 children's best, help if I could actually see my screen, bestsellers, top 200 children's bestsellers. Is that what I've called it on my site? Just check that because I have already done this. Don't really, indie bestsellers, top 200 children's indie bestsellers. Let me make sure, indie bestsellers. So in here, top 200 children's indie bestsellers. So that's going to be the name of my category. If I save that, I've now got an empty list, and I can go into my list details. So I've highlighted the list that it's created, list details, and there's an empty list. If I click on import file, and then I know that that file has downloaded into my downloads area. And it wasn't a CSV, it was a BER file, so I need to tell it I'm looking for all files, and there at the top is my one, and it's time and date stamped. So if we click OK, they're all going to go into that list. And that's all you need for that. So there they all are. Okay, now it will tell you in this list whether you've got them in stock as well. It will also tell you whether you've got them on order or in an order that you haven't sent yet. Now, if you want to order from a list that you've imported, you can just go into order list, list details. There's the same list, but in here, you can just press enter on ones you want to order. By default, it will try and order it from Bertram's. If you change that supplier down to Gardner's, for instance, enter, and then your supplier will be chosen as Gardner's for all of these. I'm not actually going to order them, so I'm just going to come out, but it will ask me, do I want to compile them to an order? If I say yes, it will put them all into a Gardner's order. Okay, so I need the list number 134. Now I'm going to go to back office, reports, and I'm going to go to custom reports, and I have this BookBugs featured report in here. I'll put that on fridit.com for you to download if you need it. And now I'm going to print, and then my list number was 134. Okay, that. Print to file. It should already be choosing a location where you can easily find that file. So okay that, and I want to replace it. Okay, now what you need to do is go to your website. This obviously will be a lot easier for WooCommerce WordPress users, but the same theory should follow with other websites as well. So I am going to my products in WooCommerce, import. I'm going to choose my file, and there it is, test.csv. Again, check it's the right dated one. Open that, and then for the first time you run this, you want to leave this unticked because any new books that are in that list, you want it to put them in. Click continue. Okay, and it should map all the fields to the right sections on your website. The only one I am going to take out is, or change rather, is this tag separated. I'm going to do tags space separated. Okay, so if I run the importer now, that will put all the books into that category that didn't already exist on your website. Now I've already run this, so I'm not going to actually run it. Then what you need to do is go back to your products once this is finished. Okay, go to import again, repeat all the same steps. So choose file, test, open, and then I'm going to update all my existing products so it puts them in that new category. It will also keep them in the current category that they were already in as well. Continue again. Now for this one, there's no need to run all of the updates on all of the fields because the name was already correct, so I can fix that. Description I'm not going to change. Categories I'm going to keep. Then I'm going to not do images because it should have already got the images. I don't need to change the stock level, so I'm not going to do that. Published, I don't care about. It's already done that. Price hasn't changed, so I'm not going to do that. Back orders allowed, I would keep there because that is what lets your customer know that it's going to be a back order. Okay, run the importer on that, and then it will import all of those records in with the new category, keeping the old category as well, into a new category like this, and then your customers can order them and browse them knowing that they are popular titles, as you can see. So that's it for creating the category on your website. That's the end of that. I'll just show you a couple of other things in Edelweiss as I've got you. So the new things that we're working on is this Edelweiss 360 up here. If you want that activated, just give me a shout. Then when you go into Edelweiss 360, this is basically a mailing program. So like MailChimp, but it's booky. So what you can do is you can build yourself a mailing. I've done a few test ones in here. So you can build yourself a mailing and just target people, say, that have ever bought board books, for instance. Now, if you're doing that, it needs the data. So people with the loyalty card system, absolutely fine. It will have all the data on all your customers. Otherwise, it will know all your customers who have specifically ordered particular books instead. So there's still quite a lot of data in there. You can also import your customers from MailChimp or any other CRM system that you use as well. And then it's really easy just so you can go through, you can look at your most ordered titles, for instance, and this is what you have most ordered. You can click on one of them and say, look at all the details of it, look at your on-hand information, your on-order information, and then you can say, you can add it to a campaign up here. So I'm going to add that to a campaign. I'm going to add that to board books. I think it's already in board books actually. but now that will be a highlighted item on the mailing. And I'll just show you what a mailing looks like. This is one I've completed. One of the strongest things about using the Edelweiss system is the rate of open and the rate of clicks is much, much higher. So on MailChimp, I was getting something like 56% maximum of opens, and I'm getting 68 on this. Clicks, I'm on 8%, whereas on my MailChimps, I was on about 4%. So that's people that have actually interacted and then clicked through to my website. And then converts, it's too early in this mailing to see those, but they'll start to come through as well. Now I can view this as well, just so I can show you what this one looked like. So this was for the 4 Indies event that happened. Frank Cottrell Boyce was talking. So we did a big newsletter. There's a poem in there. There is lots of information about the bookshop, how to order, and then down here we've got some buy links as well. And all of these buy links will take you through to your own website with that book selected. So I can click on that, and there you are, ready to order. And then the other side to 360 is the customer app. So a customer can browse your shelves on an app on their mobile device and buy through this system, which is really quite cool. So yeah, that's it for now. There were a couple of other things I was going to show. So not yet released titles. Again, if you view them in Grid, you can download them to Bertline. You can order them that way. So these are things other people are ordering heavily. And stock analysis, you've got a year-on-year sales and stock holding and things like that. I'm obviously only a year old, and obviously the numbers go down during lockdown, unfortunately. And then you've got a category performance as well, which charts how well your different categories are doing in terms of stock turn. So yeah, that's just a very brief overview. I'm going to do some more of these as part of the above the tree line work that I'm doing. Thank you for listening. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments or put them on the social media pages where I'll be posting these as well. Okay, thank you very much for listening.